Now, my technician just completed his 2 hours at the City Modesto. They're all done. Now they can head on over to the next site and start the whole process over again. That's where we get a lot of this benefit, is just the time-saving aspect of your technicians not having to worry about the paper, about having to go back and call the office or with anything. They have the site history. They have their whole schedule in front of them, and they can get more productive and be more informed as they go and do the work. This also is their time card. This is 2 hours that I've worked at regular time on a particular service report, or sorry, service ticket, but I also can do all of my other types of miscellaneous assignments, things that I need to do, such as, hey, you know, yesterday I was on vacation, so I can actually work on, you know, I say I was 8 hours on vacation yesterday. I can put that on there. I can say I worked at a job later today and put it to what job and cost code. All of the different things you would ever want to do for time can be done on here. This is a full-time entry. I worked on, let's say I went to our big Redwood Tree Hotel and I was doing some wall framing, and, you know, let's see, we're going to go ahead and say carpentry, I guess, would probably make sense. I'm a journeyman, and I worked there for 4 hours today doing some wall framing. All the different types of job work, office work, sick, vacation, those can all be thrown on here and make this be my weekly time card, which will track all the weekly time, and I can say, yep, this is all accurate. We can track van mileage for reporting later, put in notes such as took all breaks and lunches, and submit my hours. And we'll actually have, coming very shortly actually, we're adding a bit of place for some extra levels of approval to make sure your time is fully approved and stuff. But everything that I've been putting in here as well automatically is going into my Sage payroll as daily payroll entries. So when I come into here, I could see that service report that or service ticket I worked on earlier, the 2 hours are there, and also the 4 hours of wall framing I just did at Big Redwood. Everything is live in my Sage database so that my payroll person can verify it here in daily payroll and then create their time cards from this. It's all tied together there. Now, before I switch over to kind of some of the last pieces here, I also want to talk a little bit about jobs. Now, we've been talking service this entire time, you know, dispatching out service, you know, having your technicians have all that service stuff, being able to be a time card. Also note that we have integration here for your construction side as well. Most service companies I talk to have a construction division, not all, but most. And we wanted to help with that side of their company as well. We allow you to do daily field reports in the system and have those daily field reports connected back to the, I believe it's 610.6 daily field report screen in Sage 100 Contractor. If I have a Williams Post Office as one of my dailies that I'm working at, I can come in here, do the field report, generate a field report, and fill it out all in the field. I'm, as a superintendent, this may be the only thing in the system. I'm not going to assignments and doing work tickets. I'm just coming out here and saying, yep, it's cloudy, because unfortunately I live in Oregon, and it is cloudy here, and it's 70 degrees. So don't get the fun sun that July is supposed to be giving me, but I'm going to record that down anyways. And I generate that field report. It creates a DFR number 33 in Sage 100 Contractor, and allows me as a superintendent to fill out, here's the notes for the day that we happen down here. What labor came in? Well, me, Scott, and Dustin all worked on foundation framework for 2 hours today, and we could put that time in there. Also going to the time card in the main screen for that's technicians. And they can fill out the labor, what subcontractors came out here, were there any incidences? What equipment did I use? This actually uses the equipment module of Sage 100 Contractor as well. Maybe I was using my loader. We were saying used it. Used my loader here for that foundation framework, and we operated it for the 2 hours, but it was also on standby for 2 hours. We can track that. That's creating those labor entries in the system from the field. If I'm doing, let's just throw out there, if you do any unitary billing, we can capture the units. Everything can be done within here. Create those DFR reports, the PDFs, and save those. Take pictures as well. All the walkthroughs can come through. We have those connections here to do your daily field reports. Everything's tied back in, as I pointed out. That time should show up here on my daily field report assignment, 2 hours. So now I've got my 8 hours for today, and everything's accounted for. Lots of different connections back in with Sage 100 Contractor here to make sure that you can do your jobs easier and better from wherever you happen to be. So at this point, we have about 10 minutes left, and I'm going to bring up the question and answer phase here in just a minute. So feel free to start throwing in your questions into the Q&A or chat. I already see one there as well. Before I do, I just want to let you know, if I don't answer any of your questions today, meaning me as a high-level person, I may not know the nitty-gritty details. My email address right here is on the bottom, vincent.pate@sage.com. Feel free to email me any questions that I'm not able to answer, and I'll get you those actual official answers. Also, if you'd like to get pricing on this, I'll tell you it's a subscription model price, which means that you can pay on a monthly or annual basis, but that price is a flat fee, and you can change your user counts each month as it makes sense. We mentioned that a little bit earlier, but if you say happen to be on the high season and you need 20 users, we can accommodate, and maybe in your low season you drop down to 15. We can do that real easy with this subscription model here. But if you want to get the exact pricing, 800-858-7095 is your number to contact your Sage account manager, but also feel free to call your Sage business partner if you have a relationship with them as well. So at this moment, I'm going to go ahead and flip back over to the Q&A side of things here and read the questions. The first question is, can this be used for subcontractor vendors rather than employees? Yes. Because this is not connected directly, the users in the system do not necessarily have to be employees within Sage 100 Contractor. They won't be connected as vendors in there for payroll time reasons, but you could create a user that's not tied back to a employee and use it here. It's not designed to work that way because, again, we're trying to make this accomplish both your payroll as well as your internal side, but it could be done. You could create a catch-all dummy user or something and make that work for you there. That'd probably be something we'd best talk about outside of this particular presentation. So if you're the one who asked me that question, feel free to email me any specifics on that you want to, maybe elaborate on that, how you exactly want to work with it, and we'll see if we can come up with a good solution. Another question that came in is the sensitive information in Sage, like payroll, secure and protected from being seen by field techs? Yes. This is allowing you to see all the work ticket information. You could see how many hours somebody worked on a site, but it's not going to show you how much they're getting paid. It'll show you perhaps how much we're billing the customer. So if you ever need to know how much the customer got billed, you could turn that feature on. But they will never see how much a technician gets paid. They will never be able to see any personal information of another technician. And in fact, your technicians, when they're looking, really will only be able to see the information on themselves unless they happen to be a supervisor or somebody else. So no sensitive information should be available or could be available in the site. I'll give it another moment here. I see one more question. I'll give it a second here to see if any others pop up as well. The question is, can they have access to any of the program files? I'm maybe not sure I'm understanding the question appropriately on there. I'm going to say no, mostly because the technicians or the people. Actually, let's go ahead and expand upon this a little bit. When you set up a technician in the setup, you have a user created. That user is only able to do the things you tell them they are able to do. What group are they? Groups control email addresses and who they can email and things like that. Who are their supervisors? Are they a supervisor of anyone else? Can they see information of somebody else? Are they, what is their default roles in the system? Can they create quotes, POs? Can they add new work orders to the system? Can they edit certain different pieces? Your technicians are completely controlled by you as to what they can or cannot do. So there should not be any scenarios that are out there that would allow your technician to see any information that they should not see. That's completely controlled by you and how you want to set that up. And it says also, can it keep history per piece of equipment per site? And yes, as well. So when I pulled up that site history earlier on, and I'll go ahead and bring that up here as well. When I pulled up that site history for City of Modesto, actually, I'm going to switch to Lamb Shoes because I think I actually have equipment in there. When I'm going into my Lamb Shoes, let's say, I can see my different pieces of equipment that I work on there, and I can view say the heat pump here, and I can see all the service history for that heat pump and all the information there and all the different pieces. So yes, we do have all of the equipment history as well as the main work order history for a particular site. It's all connected within the system and available. And to kind of answer this other question here, is there a way to see what the site would look like if it's just a technician that they don't do anything else? I could show you right away. As an admin, I can actually jump in as a particular user and see exactly what they could see. So I'm going to turn off all the extra stuff here on one of my technicians and make them a true technician. This technician, Scott in this case, if I go and log in as him, you're going to see they're just going to see the assignments page and then whatever's been assigned out. So Tuesday was, I had stuff assigned to me, Vincent. Scott can't see any of that. He can only see work orders that have been assigned to him, which currently there are none. But the technician gets limited on their view. It's not like there's columns or sections that they can click on that they don't see anything. They literally only see what you should see. And the last question I'm seeing here is I guess there's a couple questions, but how far back does work order history go for each customer? As far back as you want. There is a setting when you set up the site and it says how many days back do you want to look. You just set that number up to whatever you want. The default is, I think, 3 years, and you can just change that to whatever makes sense for you and your company. And a great question that came up, is this capable of refrigerant logging and keeping history per piece of equipment? Yes. We do have, with the latest release of the software, which happened about 2 months ago, I think, or 3 months ago at this point, we do have the ability to look at refrigerant tracking as well and track how much refrigerant is being used on each particular site for those of you in the HVAC field.